Welcome back to the Legal Brief, the show where we crush the various legal myths and misinformation surrounding various areas of the gun world. I'm your host, Adam Kraut, and AK guys can rejoice or cry because today we're talking about why VEPRS are now banned from importation.
TacPack offers some of the highest quality tactical and EDC gear in a monthly package shipped right to your door. They aren't focused on sending you a bunch of crap. They want to make sure that you get gear you will actually use, featuring things like knives, tourniquets, multi-tools, AR-15 parts, and survival gear. TacPack is bound to have gear that you're going to love. And we're switching it up again, so if you order right now, you can get either a free knife or a free multi-tool with the code TGC Knife or TGC Tool at TacPack.com.
Before we get started, it seems as though not everyone is getting notified that there are new episodes of the show. So if you guys are enjoying this show and you're watching it on YouTube, I'm going to need you to ring that bell next to the subscribe button. If you're checking us out on Facebook, select the See First under the Following tab. This will make sure that you guys know when new videos come out on the Gun Collective. Now, yes, you did hear me correctly. VEPRS are now banned from importation. There's a bit of a complex story that goes along with it, so bear with me for a minute. The Office of Foreign Asset Controls, also known as OFAC, is a branch under the Department of Treasury that administers and enforces economic sanction programs primarily against countries and groups of individuals such as terrorists and narcotic traffickers. The sanctions can either be comprehensive or selective, and they use a variety of methods such as blocking of assets and trade restrictions to accomplish foreign policy and national security goals. The Department of Treasury has a long history of dealing with sanctions dating back to before the War of 1812. On March 6, 2014, OFAC implemented a sanctions program against Russia when then-President Barack Obama issued an executive order declaring a national security emergency to deal with the threat posed by the actions and policies of certain persons who, among other things, threaten the peace, security, stability, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of the Ukraine. Shortly thereafter, President Obama issued 3 more executive orders expanding the scope of the national emergency after other actions from Russia, including the annexation of Crimea. The executive order issued on March 16, 2014, a mere 10 days later, authorized the imposition of sanctions against persons who were operating in the arms or related material sector of the Russian Federation, as determined by the Secretaries of the Treasury and State. As a result, any companies named who operated within the arms sector of the Russian Federation were blocked from doing business within the United States. Notably, the sanctions in 2014 affected Kalashnikov Concern, a manufacturer known for its Sega rifles and shotguns. And no, they're not the same company as Kalashnikov USA. So what does all this have to do with the recent news? Well, it would seem that this newest sanction implemented against the company that makes VEPRS rifles, Molot, however it's pronounced, was bound to happen. According to an article the Firearm blog published back in March, Molot went belly up 5 years ago and had since been under the control of a bankruptcy managing company. It wasn't until this year that the company was put up for sale. In order to participate in the auction, 2 rather large criteria were required. First, the purchaser needed to have a firearms manufacturing license, and second, the purchaser needed to be able to keep the company running after the acquisition to fulfill Russian defense contracts. The article mentions the Russian financial analysts predicted Kalashnikov was really the only company around that might be able to do just that. While it is not clear to me based on what I could find whether or not Kalashnikov actually purchased Molot, it would appear that the United States government has found some kind of connection. On June 20th, OFAC added Molot to the sanctions list with a note stating, quote, linked to Kalashnikov Concern. The press release from the Department of Treasury stated that Molot manufactures ordnance and accessories and is located in the Russian Federation. In 2016, previously designated Kalashnikov Concern advised a foreign company to use Molot to falsify invoices in order to circumvent US and EU sanctions. Molot is being designated for operating in the arms or related material sector of the Russian Federation and for acting or purporting to act on behalf of, directly or indirectly, Kalashnikov Concern. As a result, the importation of Molot products are now banned. Before you ask, I couldn't tell you if and when those sanctions will be lifted from either company. It would certainly seem that given the current political climate, it's not going to be anytime soon. So what does this mean for the Molot products that are already here and paid for by either you, the end user, a dealer, distributor, or an importer? Well, nothing. You can keep your guns. You can even sell them on the secondary market. However, if Molot still had a property interest in the products, meaning they weren't paid for in full or they were being sold on a consignment basis, and I'd love to find a manufacturer who does that, the sale of those firearms would be banned. For those that may have that issue, and this really would only be importers or distributors most likely, they would want to contact OFAC for guidance how to handle that inventory. Now that you have a better understanding as to why Molot products are now banned from importation, be sure to tell your friends. If you guys like this episode, you know what to do. Hit that like button and share it around with your friends. Be sure to check out my website, adamkraut.com. Remember, if you have a question you want answered on the show, head on over to the legal brief section on theguncollective.com. Don't forget to like The Gun Collective on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Full30, Snapchat, and wherever else you can catch us on social media. And as always, thanks for watching.
The shirts worn in today's episode of The Legal Brief have been provided by Patriot Patch. Click the link in the description to learn more.